It's the story of sex, drugs, and power that Washington doesn't want you to hear.
I went with the senator for 2 years. We went beyond the call girl phase.
The shocking sexual hijinks of our nation's highest officials.
I provide that control, that total immersion into submission.
A Current Affairs hidden camera goes inside an illicit sex club to expose the feeling and dealing on Capitol Hill.
They would engage in the bunny hop and then have sex with whoever happened to be in front of them or behind them.
And gorgeous Tay Collins' sexcapades with Senator Chuck Robb were only the beginning of the scandal we've uncovered.
I had 4 death threats.
I need to ask you about Tay Collins.
They're DC's seamiest secrets.
Chuck Robb isn't fit to be dog catcher.
Capital sins.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair. Today's show may forever change the way you feel about government and our nation's top officials. Our Rita Jenrette has been inside Washington for years, and now she's uncovered the hidden stories of capital sins.
Washington, D.C. is a very randy playground that is hidden behind this facade of white marble columns and great national issues.
They're looking for anonymity. They're looking for, you know, like I said, a high class on the outside and a slut in bed.
There's probably more drugs on Capitol Hill than there are behind the scenes at rock concert.
Okay, you want to cut that off?
Washington, D.C., alluring, exciting, sometimes scandalous. And who knows better than me? I'm Rita Jenrette. Perhaps you've heard of the Capitol Steps. Now there's another blonde and another scandal.
Her name is Tay Collins, a former beauty queen who traded her crown for a Playboy cover after a sexcapade with then Governor, now Senator Chuck Robb.
I really believe that he loved me, and you know, now I hear that he had many other women and prostitutes and all sorts of other things at the same time he was seeing me, and that's painful.
The very married senator says it's all a lie, but Washington has seen this passion play before. There was Fanny Fox, the stripper who became the tidal basin bombshell. Elizabeth Ray, the shapely secretary who couldn't type. Paula Parkinson, the lobbyist who reportedly slept with congressmen behind closed doors. And Donna Rice, the Miami model who made no excuses for would-be President Gary Hart. And now it's Tay.
I mean, I could blow the stack off of this country. God.
At the very least, Tay's shocking allegations about prostitutes, drugs, and death threats could blow the stack off the dome.
I think the whole business with Chuck Robb is, if it's the precursor of a trend, I think it's going to let all hell loose. If women come jumping out of the closet saying, oh, I did this with Senator so-and-so, all bets are off. It's a whole new ballgame.
Already the rules are changing. This woman, we'll call her Kathy, is a high-priced call girl seen here on hidden camera. She says she frequently serves the men elected to serve us.
In your opinion, what percentage of the senators and congressmen use call girl services?
I'm going to say at least half.
But Kathy isn't just any call girl. She's the real thing. A former senator's mistress who was introduced at embassies and parties as his aide on the Hill.
I went with the senator for 2 years, and I was pretty much at his disposal. I mean, whenever he called, you drop all. You have to be there for him. And it was a mistress type of situation. We went beyond the call girl phase.
For Kathy, it was as if she had stepped into another world, a world of limousines and luxury, where she breathed the heady scent of power.
It's like being Cinderella, rags to riches. The power and the mighty, the rich and influential, the power. I mean, you are somebody when you are with him. When he helped me buy my house, I knew then I hit my pot of gold.
Have you ever been to the White House?
Yes, I have. There was a dinner when Princess Diana and Prince Charles were here in town, and I went with my senator.
Did you talk to the president and the first lady?
I just shook their hands when in the receiving line. and stuff, and it was really neat.
But even as she was wined and dined on her senator's arm, Kathy the call girl was attending parties where the lawmakers were breaking the laws.
You know, there's a lot of drinking. They're usually celebrating a bill being passed or something being done on the floor or something happening. And, you know, pop goes the champagne, pop goes the beer, and out comes the marijuana and the cocaine.
I mean, I've had girlfriends who have said they've seen more drugs at Washington parties than they've ever seen anywhere else. And sex. With politicians? With politicians.
When we come back, the senator and the beauty queen. It wasn't just the sex that's shocking.
I know what people are like when they do cocaine.
He was the golden boy in a glamorous set, but tales of wild parties and illicit love may have ended his White House dreams.
There's people who have photographs of him and doing things that he shouldn't be doing.
It was a fantasy. I mean, it just didn't happen.
Next, a former president's family and the uproar over capital sins.
When beautiful Tay Collins posed for Playboy, she not only exposed herself, she also exposed her alleged affair with Senator Chuck Robb. Now, despite several death threats, she's decided to come forward and tell Rita Jenrette the dirty truth about drugs and sex and how she was robbed.
Virginia, we've always been committed to political campaigns that focused on issues, not on personal attacks.
He was the governor of Virginia, handsome, rich, a president's son-in-law who wanted to be in the White House himself.
Tay Collins!
She was Miss Virginia, an all-American beauty queen who claimed she gave her heart and more to Governor-turned-Senator Chuck Robb.
He went from saying he didn't remember me to he thought he remembered me to yes, he did have a naked massage with me, but that was all. I mean, he's changed his story a million times.
By now, the tawdry details of the Tay Collins-Chuck Robb sex scandal are known, but Tay alone knows the terror she lived with for years.
I came forward with it to end the threats. I had 4 death threats. In fact, after the first one, they told me I was going to die tomorrow. The very next night, a car tried to run over me.
All these threats for a nude massage? It sounds ludicrous, but Tay Collins says the senator has something to hide.
I just know that there's people who have photographs of him and doing things that he shouldn't be doing.
Are they compromising things, or are they doing things?
Very compromising. Very compromising.
But are you?
Things that the paper couldn't print.
Shocking allegations, but are they true? We caught up with Senator Chuck Robb and his wife Linda Bird at a crab fest in Northern Virginia.
I need to ask you about Tay Collins. Why did you feel it was a fantasy?
Oh, because it was a fantasy. I mean, it just didn't happen. But the thing about it is, I don't, I'm outraged by somebody
What you may want to do is just check credibility both sides, and then you come to your own conclusion.
She says there are pictures.
Well, why don't you ask her to show them to you? Okay?
That's right.
So far, the only photos Tay Collins has produced are these sexy scenes in Playboy. Tay's not embarrassed, but she says the senator's wife and former president's daughter should be.
I mean, even his wife publicly standing up for him, she's making an idiot out of herself for him, and when she finds out the truth.
California partnership and
a little better for the urban area.
I'm not easy right now, though, is it?
No,
That
not
part of it,
easy,
and the emphasis on gas
is, you know, if you've got somebody that you
like I've said, that in terms
can
of its
depend on, and
basic
someone that
thrust,
you know is a good person and that you believe.
Did he ever talk about her? One time he mentioned her and he just said that they had an understanding. That was it.
Tay Collins says her relationship with Chuck Robb began here in Virginia Beach in 1983. It was the golden age of Virginia Beach, and the governor was the most glamorous member of a very glamorous scene. Almost every night there were wild parties, beautiful women, and lots of drugs.
I've never seen the amounts of cocaine that I've seen in Virginia Beach. At the parties there, I'm talking mountains on the table, on big tables, mountains, and everybody around down on their knees doing cocaine.
Did you ever see Chuck Robb do drugs?
There were drugs at the parties, lots of them. He was around them. I know he knew what was going on. I've never seen him do it. I haven't lied.
But you've seen his acceptance of those.
I've seen his acceptance, and I know what people are like when they do cocaine.
And he was like that.
And he changed at times.
Tay Collins isn't the first to link the senator with drugs. Robb's opponent for the Senate in 1988 challenged him to take a drug test. Robb did and passed. Earlier this year, the senator categorically denied he had ever used drugs.
Unequivocally, absolutely. I've answered that question I don't know how many times. I know that it's hard for you and others to believe. I've never even seen it, never had anything to do with it, never condoned it. And I have made that clear as many times as I've been asked.
Senator Chuck Robb has said that he wouldn't know cocaine if he saw it. He says the drug allegations against him are a vendetta by his political enemies. But A Current Affairs found some people who claim that he's not only been at parties where cocaine was used, but they've seen him use it.
He picked up a straw and snorted coke just like the rest of us, and seemed to think nothing of it.
Courtney Cromwell, a Virginia Beach party girl who has been convicted on a marijuana charge, says she was 17 when she saw Governor Robb use drugs.
Everyone just kind of looked at each other. They couldn't believe it. That they were here and the governor of Virginia was here and he was doing drugs and they were doing drugs and that everyone was in the same room.
Ricky Chaplin, a former coke addict, claims he saw Governor Robb snort cocaine on 4 separate occasions back in 1984.
Chuck Robb stuck the pin up his nose, put his face down to the typewriter tray, lined this up with a line of cocaine, and breathe. You could hear him breathe in. And when his face came up, the line of cocaine was gone. So if that's not snorting cocaine, I don't know what is.
Chaplin claims he once snorted cocaine with the governor and Ricky Dunnington, owner of the Sea Raven. Dunnington denies the charge and says reports that the governor used drugs and partied on his boat are lies.
No, it's very untrue that Chuck Robb's ever been on my boat using cocaine or with any naked women.
So you've never seen Chuck Robb do cocaine?
Never have seen Chuck Robb do cocaine.
One local newspaper interviewed 200 people and failed to find any evidence of Robb's alleged drug use. In his book, Tough Enough, Private Eye Billy Franklin tells a different story.
Chuck Robb was doing things, particularly with cocaine, that you and I'd go to jail for if the same people had seen it. And in that instance, I'm talking about police officers that were aware of it, many other people that knew about it, officers of the court. There were attorneys who were well aware of this. No one did anything.
Franklin, who investigated the allegations about Robb and once employed Ricky Chaplin, says 6 people told him they saw the governor use cocaine.
I could care less how many women he dallied with, and there were a lot of them. My concern is the cocaine. It's a tremendous problem. And Chuck Robb set himself up above the law, and those that attempted to talk about it received death threats like me, or they were audited by the IRS, or they had the Federal Elections Commission come down on them.
Is Chuck Robb fit to be Senator of the United States?
Hell no. Chuck Robb isn't fit to be dog catcher. Chuck Robb, in my opinion, is morally unfit for any public office. I think it's time for a damn change. And I think the good place to start is with Senator Charles Spittle Robb.
People say to me, I brought down Chuck Robb. I didn't bring him down. He brought himself down. If he hadn't done the things, he would have had nothing to hide or cover up.
Senator Robb has consistently denied any drug use. Now, when we come back, our hidden camera blows open the exclusive club that sells sex in the shadow of the White House.
These were encounters that definitely could have been used for blackmail.
We reveal the corrupt private lives of men in power.
I do nothing more than fulfill a fantasy.
Senators wanting to be love slaves and spies trading sex for secrets. The most shocking capital sin.
They live by totally different rules.
He had made an appointment to see me as a French maid and wanted to serve me for the evening.
Most Americans are shocked at orgies to begin with, but to have a congressman go to them is doubly shocking.
This is a story about the Washington, D.C. that most outsiders never see. As a young congressional wife, I dined at the White House and flew on Air Force One and met world leaders. That was before my life exploded in headlines and scandals. But that's another story. What you're about to see is a Washington, D.C. that shocked even me.
Inside this restaurant, just a few blocks from the White House, a swinging sex club has operated for the past 23 years. And it's called, what else, the Capital Couples.
Don't be surprised if people start taking their clothes off and wandering around half naked or anything.
The Capital Couples, you could have seen a senator, you could have seen a White House aide, you could have seen a Pentagon official, a well-known journalist. They would engage in the bunny hop and then have sex with whoever happened to be in front of them or behind them.
Journalist Ron Kessler says Capital Couples should be classified top secret. His book, Spy vs. Spy, documents how a husband and wife spy team swapped sex for secrets at the club.
These were encounters that definitely could have been used for blackmail. Karl and Hannah Kosher would pass along to the KGB the names of the people at the parties, even if they didn't develop any relationships with them or any information from them.
We can't show you the couples having sex in the dimly lit back rooms, but they're there. And so is the potential for blackmail.
It's certainly a very powerful kind of corruption. It's a powerful hold to have on someone to know that in their private lives they're deviating from the norm in a way that certainly the voters wouldn't like to know about.
This woman says the voters back home would be more than a little shocked if they saw the politicians on her client list.
This is probably one of the areas where the most powerful and richest men live and control the world.
And want to be humiliated?
I want to be humiliated, want to be submissive, want to grovel at my feet.
According to Mistress V, the more powerful the politician, the more submissive they want to be.
They're always in control. They want someone else to control them. They want to let go. And they're not able to do that with their wives, their girlfriends, often their mistresses. And so I provide that control, that total immersion into submission that is often such a needed release for those that are in power.
When we come back, the other side of politicians who wave the flag and kiss babies. Many of this country's top officials are dedicated and hardworking, but too many are seduced by the power they wield. And Rita Jenrette tells us their capital sins leave a trail of broken lives and shattered dreams.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
The beautiful couple with a happy family routine is something that has to be sort of waved around before the voters back home. And yet I wonder if people really are as bamboozled by all that as they seem to be.
And to the republic for which it stands.
These are people setting the laws and putting drug dealers in prison, but they're doing them. It's such a double standard. It's like, you know, all the power people walk on the little people.
One nation under God.
Since they're the leaders in the country, I think that people would expect them to be more exemplary in that conduct than the ordinary public.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They ought to have a higher standard. That's the way it used to be, and that's the way they portray themselves, and I'll be damned if that's the way it is.
One thing I do know, Washington, D.C. changes people, but it will never change. It's like that old saying, power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely.